Okay, so, we already recorded this episode. And that episode would be called the Cult episode. And, yep, this is an idea that I had in mind for quite a while.
Hmm. We forgot to do an introduction, so don't worry, we're doing this right now. But yeah, don't worry. I don't think we got brainwashed in this episode anyway. I mean, I don't think we did yet.
Not until later on, right? But, just to recap what this episode, if you haven't listened already,
If you
oh,
haven't listened already, this is gonna be put in the intro.
yeah, but in this episode I did have a guest on here, and unlike, all our other guests, which were acquaintances slash friends, this one is a family member
Hmm.
of mine, and that family member is my sister.
Nice, nice.
And let's just say, this was quite a fun episode.
I mean, I certainly learned a decent bit about some of the cults. I mean, I knew a considerable amount of the Manson family before going into this, but it's honestly been a few years. So, kind of rebrushing up my section again and learning a little bit more about your topic was pretty interesting too.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just crazy though what happened to that person that I talked about.
Mm. But yeah, no,
But
hey, even shouting out your sister for a second. She has some wild stories too. It's some wild moments for sure. And I mean, like, a little bit of like the insight into why people fall into this type of stuff. I mean,
mhm.
I spoke about the Manson family, and that has people kind of, or I guess had people, following into this type of stuff, kind of fluctuating with numbers. But the main people were kind of from the beginning and from the end, right?
Yeah.
But no, it was just fairly interesting how all that type of stuff just kind of falls into place. And it's all coercion, it's all manipulation. I mean, whether it's funny or not, it's at least interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Something I'd be interested in finding just more stories on my own time.
Oh yeah, I totally feel the same thing. And
Hmm.
hey, maybe you could join our cult, right?
Yeah, right. Join our
Uh,
DomJake cult.
the DJ cult in coming out this summer, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah. Oh wait,
Hey,
it already is
but
as
but
of this
but
recording.
we're gonna be a good cult. We're just gonna get people on track, and then
We're to make people
I don't know,
happy.
and then maybe I don't know they'll do more taxes for us.
Yeah. There you go.
That's the type of cult we'll do. No sacrifices, just taxes.
Mm. Just the tax cult. There we go. Perfect. Woohoo. But
uh, but no.
anyways,
Is there anything else, or should we introduce past us and your sister?
let's
Is
just.
it time to introduce our past selves?
I think it is. Like I'm pumped. I'm pumped. Let's just do it. Let's just introduce our past selves.
I guess take it away, past us. Warning, these stories probably have mention of things you might not be comfortable hearing. Let this be a warning to you to proceed with caution, because we're gonna say things.
And joining us today once again is my sister, named Isabella.
Hi.
All right. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about cults, and more specifically, our stories that each of us are going to cover, and what we've gathered. Now, before we actually talk about the stories, I'm going to I'm going to define what a cult is. What a cult is a religion or religious sect generally considered to be extremist or false, with its followers often living in an unconventional manner under the guidance of an authoritarian and charismatic leader. So,
You say religious. Do they have to be religious?
not necessarily. I mean, it's just mainly just the leader and then the sheep following, essentially.
A lot of them start as a religious group, but that's usually more to like get people in, and then it kind of goes off the rails. From what I've read.
Right. Right. Yeah. And what do you think of...
That's a lot.
Yep. Do you think cults can be good or bad or both?
I think they're bad. If they fall under what you define as a cult. I feel like cult is a group, a religious group, or a group of people where it has gone wrong. I feel like we only define it as a cult when it's something that has gone wrong. Usually when it's good, it's not considered a cult. You know what I mean?
That's an interesting take. I mean, like, because I would even say, like, I don't know, like, door-to-door salespeople are kind of like a cult, right? Like, so
real estate.
I don't know. It kind of has a little bit of a nuanced, I guess, connotation to it. But like, according to that definition, though, once it does get bad, then sure, yes, it can be bad. But like, maybe they start out with well intention and then go kaput, right?
I'm thinking about it as, like a real estate, or maybe not that specific example, but it starts out sounding great, but then it just becomes woohoo, right? But we don't have to talk about just the definition. We got stories we like to cover. I'm gonna start off with one that I've been talking about for a while, and this person goes by at least the name Mother God, or her real name is Amy Carlson. So it starts out as, she's a manager at a McDonald's. And yes, right? But I think she was like talking to somebody on the some web thing at the time, and then eventually she just abandoned her family and everybody just to do this cult. And then the person that she was talking to eventually became Father God. And the Mother God here would claim, really, she was reincarnated 534 times. She claims that she was related to Madonna. She was related to Elvis Presley. Just a lot of these people. Marilyn Monroe. Yep. And then she would not believe in modern medicine. And as you might guess, people would believe her. They don't take modern medicine. Then the sad irony is then she eventually gets sick, but then all the people that join her cult are like, wait, no, we don't want to help you. We're against modern medicine. So this is just, she's met like a couple of other people, and then there's like so many other father gods. And then 2018, that's where things really went bad.
Fairly recently.
So, yep, her health really started deteriorating. Well, everybody's like, well, no, I don't want to help you, like I said. And then from that point on, things just got really bad. Like, her skin was like grayish.
Because they were using colloidal silver to treat her cancer, because they were like, they didn't want, she was like, take me to a real doctor, and they're like,
nope, absolutely not.
How about some silver? And then she started turning gray because of the colloidal silver, which can kill you.
Yeah, but then the timing of her death was bad, because this was during COVID. 2021, she died in her own like cult home. It was a mess. You'd have to, oh my god. Jake, what do you think about this?
It's definitely one of those things where it kind of shows the herd mentality in the lack of the medicine, right? Because you spend all this time, preaching that the only things that you need to live are XYZ, right? Do this thing and all your issues will go away. Whether that's true or not, or whether it has some basis in truth or not, people take it and run with it. But of course, what ends up happening in the funny twist, I guess unfortunate twist when it comes to this, is she ends up needing hospitals but cannot do it herself. So it's just kind of interesting how it kind of lines up, at least with my side of things. My story later on, whenever we get there. But
Yeah.
just those
What?
baselines, they sound similar, you know?
It just, what gets me is just how people are easy to believe. It's just easy for people to believe that.
They take advantage of people who are in vulnerable places in their lives. Usually the people, it's like, I lost my job, or I don't know, I stopped believing in religion because something happened to me, and then the cult leader will be like, I can help you with whatever you're going through, because the only way to get people is to take advantage of those who are already in a vulnerable state.
And that would be called in today's world a social media influencer to sell you their latest G Fuel.
Well, hang on. This episode's been sponsored by...
Right.
not us, right?
Not us. But yeah, I don't. She was only 46 when she died. Yeah, she took that colloidal silver, and she was also an alcoholic. Anorexia. Yeah.
What a healthy mix.
Right. But then there's people that they actually had mugshots for tampering with her carcass.
Yeah, because they kept her. They kept her in. I don't know how long they had her, but they obviously didn't get rid of her. Like, they kept her in her bed, and she mummified, basically.
Yeah.
So it was probably one of those things where it's like the followers, or at least the higher ranked followers, maybe some of the father gods or whatever, were possibly just saying, yeah, she's still alive, she's just in the tent still. Here's what she told me to tell you, you know?
I think they were waiting for her to wake up, because she said she had been reincarnated a bunch of times. And now they've seen her pass, so they're like, oh, well, you guys just gotta wait, she'll come back. And then, obviously,
and then
did not.
Reality struck in, and then they woke up and are now facing charges.
Well, even if we're going to go the reincarnation route, like, let's just take that as truth for a second. Wouldn't you have to be reborn in, like, as an actual child to reincarnate, or is it like a phoenix situation where you're just the same body as dead, but then from the ashes, you know?
I really don't know how to really answer that.
I don't know. Like, I mean,
I don't know.
I think she was pretty vague with it, and then since she died, they're like, grasping for straws. They're like, oh, well, she's probably going to come back, because now that their leader is gone, they don't really know what to do.
Yeah.
Wild.
It's anything we want to say more about this before we move on to maybe yours, Jake?
What part of the country was this in?
It was in Ashland, Oregon.
It was Oregon, okay. West Coast.
Well, that's where she died, but then she was in, it was like more like in the Midwest area.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, this can happen. It doesn't have to just be here in the States. Cults can be anywhere.
Definitely. And I mean, historically, cults have been around since pretty much as old as society, pretty much, you know?
Right.
I mean, you hear about the stonemasons back in that time. I think they're probably even still a thing. Whether or not you believe them, there's the Illuminati who controls all of Hollywood.
Illuminati, huh?
The Freemasons.
Right.
Freemasons, yeah.
There's a Freemason temples all over. There's one downtown from us.
So something here says that, her mummified remains were in a sleeping bag decorated with Christmas lights, glitter sprinkled around her eyes. She'd also been tucked into a bed. amid what authorities said looked like a shrine, or as a housemate told deputies when they arrived and searched the premises. Yep, Mother is in rest. So they just, decorated her, pretty much. I guess that's their way of honoring their leader.
That's fine and all, everyone has kind of different beliefs when it comes to how you do deal with corpses, right? Like, you can have a Viking funeral where you just send them off into a ship and bow and arrow that thing until it engulfs in flames, right? And you can cremate people, you can bury people, you could do a whole bunch of various things with remains and corpses, right? So that's not where the judgment lies with me, but the judgment comes from, okay, you kind of have to understand that keeping something in a tent like that for very long is not going to do you wonders, let alone the corpse.
Right.
Just think about how bad that tent probably smelled.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
And her cult's still active right now.
Somehow.
Yeah, they still post videos.
Yeah.
And they're carrying on her legacy. I think they're claiming that she will come back.
Which, I mean, nah, it's gonna be an absolute no if we're talking more realistic standards. But people believe she'll come back.
I mean, she's already back. You ever heard of it?
Yeah. No, this is one story that sounded very interesting. It's just another example of, hey, this is a cult that people really believe in. Now, there is a story that I think you have. I think you told me a little bit about it, but I don't know the full story.
Which do you mean?
You have, let's see, something called the Manson family.
You're talking about me,
Yes.
We doing this?
Yes, we are.
We doing this, alright. So, the Manson family. Charles Manson was born in 1934. He had a troubled childhood, and he spent most of his youth in and out of different institutions. He has had a post-prison transformation after release in 1967. He reinvented himself in San Francisco's Haight-Ashbury scene, combines pseudo-spiritually, counterculture, and music. His recruitment was kind of more so targeting vulnerable, mostly young women, disillusioned by society, and looking for purpose, kind of, coinciding with what you were saying earlier of they find insecurities and they latch onto them. They say, you join us and we will help you.
We will fix your problems.
And it could. And a lot of times it does help them. Until it gets a little extreme, then it's like, oh, well, I guess I have my career now again, but I'm doing something else now, right? Things can get out of hand. But no, he promised them love, freedom, drugs, and communal living. Right, because this happened around that good old 60s, 70s, hippie movement, right?
Yep.
Filled with all that counterculture.
Peace and stuff.
And it had a revolutionary British band known as the Beatles, right? The Beatles had a little mention in one of their songs, Helter Skelter, right? Manson's race war prophecy, twisted from the Beatles' lyrics, believed black people would rise up and kill all white people, but wouldn't know how to rule. Right? He had kind of a belief of, the times, right? We obviously know this is not real today by today's standards, but black people in his mind were inferior. And sure, they could kill all of us, but what are they going to do? They are not fit to rule, right? Was the flawed thinking at the time, right? And the family's role, because remember, this was a cult, not just Charles Manson, even though he is the leader. The family's role triggered the war by committing murders and blaming Black Americans for them.
I don't know. People have a way of thinking at the time, but obviously now people can see through the cracks.
People can see through some of the cracks, but...
And perhaps, maybe even at the time, people started to connect the dots and think something's not right.
The thing about that, though, is, like, people are, diverse, right? There are probably people who would still consider themselves part of a Manson family-esque sort of thing, right? I mean, some of the members are actually still alive, but they're probably all in either prison or, like, parole, maybe. Or most of them are probably dead by now, but
just they're not in good places.
Probably not. I mean, I actually have not looked into where a lot of the current whereabouts are with a lot of them, but I wish I did, honestly. But yeah, they had a messiah sort of complex, right? Manson positioned himself as like a Christ-like figure, claiming to be the reincarnation of Jesus. And if you look at different pictures, some depictions of Manson kind of look like he could be some depictions of Jesus, right?
I mean, right now there's this picture of him from 1968.
With like long hair and kind of like facial hair, right?
He's got like the facial hair, but it's definitely puffy on the sides. Yeah, is this the guy you would want to trust?
And the thing is, some people, yeah. I mean, we're looking at this with like with a modern scope, right?
Like, with like a modern lens.
We look at him and we might be like, oh, I mean, you might know where all the good kush is, but I don't know if I want you babysitting my kids or something,
Use like an old vintage scope and think, this guy might seem fine. But obviously today we're like,
So, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, they killed, like, probably one of the most famous things they did was kill the really famous actress Sharon Tate. And I mean, when they did that, like, that's kind of when they were like, the public knew about them, but when they did that, like, that's what kind of solidified them to the public as like, these people are crazy, and led to their demise.
Which, by the way,
well-beloved public figure.
Which, by the way, Sharon Tate, 8.5 months pregnant at the time, but
yeah.
So it wasn't just an adult; it was
also like an unborn child.
Right.
Right. So there was pretty much 2 people pretty much killed.
Well, with that particular event, there are more victims, unfortunately, but it wasn't just Tate. Yeah. Definitely not just. Ooh. But no, they had like a sprawling operation. Like, I believe it's called Spawn Ranch. Maybe it's Span. Maybe it's.
Let's see. Spawn Ranch.
Yeah, I would assume it's Spawn, but it was an old movie set near LA, and it became the base of operations. It allowed them to live off grid and a little isolate, right? And just based off of both of these stories, right, the Manson family and Mother God, was the fact that they were isolated, kind of off grid a little bit. But it was the 60s. They had quite a bit of drug use, heavy use of LSD and other psychedelics, and often they were used to manipulate different members, whether new members or old members, right? Because maybe somebody with a sound mind would not look at that itinerary and be like, yes, I'm totally on board. Maybe you just need your brain to be a little bit cloudy to be like, oh, okay, we killing a pregnant mother? Okay, sure.
Yeah, of
Sounds
course.
like a Tuesday.
Of course, they're gonna think it's normal because they're not thinking straight.
They might not. And obviously cult members, sometimes they get to their senses and they just dip, you know?
Mhm.
I'm sure some of the Manson family members were like members for like an hour and then were like, okay, something's up, you know? But the heavy hitters were in it to win it, so to speak. And
It looks like there's one. Looks like there was like another person they killed. His name was Donald Shea.
no, yeah.
He was a stuntman and actor, which I guess was why they were at the spawn area.
Yeah, they took his ranch over, basically.
And he got killed.
Good
Now.
old territories, right?
Right.
Right on. This cult, much like many others, operates with sex, right? Manson used sex, sometimes ritualized as a form of dominance. You know, if you could put somebody in their place and provide supposed pleasure, then you're probably going to have an easier time with controlling that side of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we dipped into the crimes a little bit before, right? But I'm gonna get a little bit more in depth with this, right? They had the Tate LaBianca murders, or LaBianca murders, in 1969. August 8th to 9th in 69, Cielo Drive murders. The victims were Sharon Tate with an 8.5-month baby on the way, and Jay Sebring, Abigail Folger, Wojciech Frykowski, and Stephen Parent. Respect to all of them on Cielo Drive. Now the killers for that bunch: Tex Watson, Susan Atkins, Patricia Krenwinkel, Linda Kasabian was the getaway driver. It was brutal, ritualistic stabbings with pig written in blood on the door. Pig obviously referring to police, right? And if it was believed that, you know, connecting this back to, you know, their motives, right? If it was believed that black people were riding pigs and stuff like that on the walls, then it would be kind of an easier way to pin different crimes and stuff on black people, right? Now, August 10th of that same year, with the LaBianca murders, the victims, Leno and Rosemary LaBianca, is killed by, once again, Tex, once again Krenwinkel, and this time, Leslie Van Houten. Words like rise, death to pigs again, and Helter Skelter were carved and written in blood in the scene.
Right.
They're really trying to drive home the fact that, ooh, cops are bad. Ooh, let's try to pin this on another group of people by insinuating that, you know, put this message there. Right.
Yeah.
Key players. Charles Manson was the leader, manipulator, and didn't technically directly commit murders, but he definitely orchestrated them. He was the, I guess, manager. There was Tex Watson, the main executioner. He did most of the physical killing. There's Susan Atkins, bragged in jail about killing Tate. Major reason the group got caught, because she was silly, because she's loose-lipped. Patricia Krenwinkel took part in both nights of murders. Leslie Van Houten participated in the LaBianca murders at age 19.
Right.
Linda Kasabian was driver that later turned into a state's witness. Trial and aftermath. In 1970 to 71 Media Circus, Manson carved an X into his forehead, later turned into a swastika. Convictions: Manson and several followers sentenced to death commuted to life when California temporarily abolished the death penalty. The cultural impact shattered the idealism of the 60s. It brought fear and suspicion to the hippie movement. Because you look at him and you look at the family, you kind of think, yes, you are hippies. But guess what? Hippies are supposed to love thy neighbor, you know? It's supposed to
They're
be
supposed to be all
love and
happy,
love
happy,
and
happy.
happiness and say no to war, say no to, you know? Come
They
on,
know
man.
to. I can maybe see why people would now consider. Wait, why is this hippie movement bad? Imagine this translated to today's world. You think You think more cops would be involved, try to stop these guys?
I mean, if it
If
was
this,
today, you have more technology and more ways to keep track of things, you know?
They'd probably have more of an online presence if it was, or they would probably have. I would think they would have an online presence if it was current.
I mean, they'd probably have drones stalking the Spawn Ranch if that was today.
Actually, you probably don't even need those drones because someone's probably going to live stream the whole thing.
Maybe like the Manson family live on Twitch.
Right. Hey, thanks for the bits.
Right. Oh God, but this is wild. The Manson family.
The Manson family is definitely wild, and what is also wild are the unexpected connections. Because, I mean, this whole cult, rather, I should say, is riddled with connections that you just would not immediately guess. Like Dennis Wilson of the Beach Boys. He let Manson and his girls live with him, recorded some of Manson's music, and later dropped him, which helped fuel Manson's rage. So, there are recordings out there, if you know where to look. Manson had music. I don't know if we have the rights to play it in this, but if it's fine to do so, maybe we would have it in the background. I don't know.
I would just safely say, just find the song yourself.
Yeah, it's just an easier way to do it, right? Just find Manson's music yourself and just hear how haunting it is, right? Considering that he was also a part of this.
Yeah.
Now, Roman Polanski, director and husband of Sharon Tate, and he was not home during the night of the murders.
Right.
There's the Beatles. Manson believed that White Album songs were coded messages, especially Helter Skelter, Revolution 9, and Piggies. And the whole Hollywood entertainment industry. Manson tried to break into music, and his rejection added to his resentment. I mean, you could kind of draw some sort of comparison. There's overlapping when it comes to Manson and other world leaders who might have wanted to be an artist but then were rejected, and then, I'm trying to censor the fact that I mean Hitler.
Right. I'm gonna have to find that song after this.
I
But
actually need to listen to it.
Only for research purposes, not for anything else. But
no, you're gonna have it on your Spotify Wrapped at the end of the year. You're gonna be like top 1 listener.
And then what? Gonna have an AI Charles Manson tell me thanks for listening to Spotify?
Maybe. I don't know what you do.
Because I'm not gonna go on the whole tangent, but he's got something out there. Like,
but no, I mean, I definitely could go a little bit more into like copycats of the Manson family, or possible different like media, like movies and shows and stuff like that depict Manson in some sort of way. I could do that, but for the sake of time, I'm just probably going to do the right thing and say that was the Manson family case, or at least spark notes of it, right? A little summary, if you will. Spark notes.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood has probably something similar.
Probably. I mean, but no, what I would be kind of curious about would be what the professional in cults has to say about things. Is there a third type of story out there that maybe the two of us don't know about?
I brought a story.
Yeah!
I was inspired by the documentary on Netflix, Keep Sweet, Pray and Obey. It's about the FLDS, which is the Fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which is not to be confused with the LDS, which is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which are Mormons. They're not connected, but they sound very similar. So basically, I'll start from the beginning. Mormons, up until 1904, practiced polygamy, but they renounced polygamy in 1904 and excommunicated their members who practiced. These members started their own group called the Council of Friends, which then morphed into the FLDS and was run by a man named Rulon Jeffs. And they lived in Arizona, and they practiced polygamy, and that was their whole thing. They were like, having multiple wives brings you closer to God. But then in 1953, the Arizona State Police and National Guard raided their community in Arizona and arrested the entire group, which, fun fact, was the largest mass arrest of polygamists in American history. Where this gets, like, crazy is in 2002, when Rulon Jeff's son, Warren Jeffs, takes over for the church. He builds this huge ranch in El Dorado, Texas, called the YFZ Ranch, Yearning for Zion Ranch. It was huge. They had three-story homes, 8,000 to 10,000 square feet each, so it was a compound. And when Warren Jeffs took over, he kind of made it, I would say, more cult-like. Because beforehand they were just, they just had multiple wives, which is weird and illegal, but they didn't make a whole thing out of it. But when Warren Jeffs took over, he made it more governed. Like, he added a lot more rules. And it's where it got weird, and it kind of blew up in his face, but we'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
So, he had about 4 main teachings, Warren Jeffs, the new leader of the FLDS. First was the one-man rule. So, God only works through one man, known as the prophet. So, Warren Jeffs called himself the prophet, basically. He told all his followers, like, God's working through me. You need to talk to God, talk to me. And if God's not talking to you, it's because he's talking to me. Plural marriage, good. That's basically what he said, which is left over from his dad running the FLDS. You basically need a minimum of 3 wives to receive the highest form of salvation. So, the more the better. Wives were supposed to be subordinate to their husbands, which is gross. And the prophet, aka Warren Jeffs, can steal any wives he wants, or gift wives to male members. And he's like, oh, well, God told me to do that. So that's where it started to get weird, and he was taking, using God as an excuse to be a freak. He was also super racist, which seems to be a common thing for cults, like you said with the Manson cult.
Mm-hmm.
The devil was brought to the earth by black people, so that was also not cool. And then another thing was he decided on, started policing what they could wear. So no tattoos or body piercings, which is pretty, par for
whatever
fundamentalist Christian groups.
Right?
Yeah. If you're familiar with the Duggars on TLC, Amy Duggar.
Yeah, the 18 member family or something.
Yes, they're
Yeah.
fundamentalist Christians. So
Mm.
if you noticed, the women were not wearing pants. They had to wear skirts or dresses. They didn't wear makeup. Their hair was super, super long. They had to style it a certain way, like a coif. Men had less rules. It was just wear long shirts and pants.
So yeah, there's like two different things going on.
Yeah.
One had more rules, the other had less.
Yeah, so obviously women were strongly policed in this group.
Mm-hmm.
So that was happening from 2003 onward. They had been in the media a little bit, but things they didn't run into legal trouble until 2007. Warren Jeffs got arrested and was charged with child trafficking and arranging of child marriages because he had started to collect wives, and a lot of them were children, which is not good. And he started promising wives to other followers around the country and even in different countries, and started trafficking children across the borders of Canada and Mexico. So the police were like, that's not good. And they went to arrest him, and then he ran. But then he got caught in Arizona, was charged with 8 counts of incest and, trigger warning, sexual conduct with minors.
Yep, people are wild.
Yep. They extradited him to Texas. He was determined to be guilty of SA of a minor and aggravated SA of a minor, and he got life in prison plus 20 years and a $10,000 fine. But this is not the end of the FLDS. He still practiced while he was in prison. Even though a lot of his members left the church and realized this was not right, they still had about 50 members, even today. Even by 2018, as you saw, he was arrested in 2007. By 2018, he had 79 wives still while he was in prison. So, yeah, that was crazy.
This definitely took an extreme turn.
Yes. Thoughts, guys?
I just don't know what led to him being attracted.
Children?
Yeah.
Beats me. But he used his position as the prophet and was like, well, these people will listen to whatever I say and do whatever I say because as far as they're concerned, God is speaking through me. So he used that to be like, well, you have to give me your children. I will marry your child. It's what God wants. And since they live on this ranch, all their family members are here. This is how they survive. They've never lived in the regular world. So they have no choice but to say yes. Mm-hmm. So they go along with it. Which is part of how cults thrive. They isolate you from those around you. It's like an abusive relationship. They isolate you from your friends and your family. Mm-hmm. And they become your main source for survival. So you have no... what are you going to say? No? And then you're on your own?
Well, yeah, I mean, let's say in that scenario, maybe I would rather be on my... I don't know.
Yeah,
rather be on my own.
Tough. A lot of people, they started getting media attention around when he got arrested, and the people there, many of his followers were like, we believe in him, and he'll be out of prison soon, and he'll be back, and you guys will realize he's the prophet, blah, blah, blah.
And also, what's the appeal to having multiple people, multiple wives, let alone multiple people at once?
He's a freak.
He's
Right, you get one wife for every day of the month.
Exactly.
Right?
It's a power thing because he was able to steal wives from his male members, and it was like now he's in control.
He's a homewrecker.
Yeah, basically.
Hey, I'll take Sarah if you can take Kathy and Melissa from me. We have a trade.
Oh my god, yeah.
We're just freaking Pokemon at that point.
Yeah, well, Pokewives.
Gotta wife them all. Wonderful.
Yeah, right. Sarah, I choose you. But, by the way, this is sponsored by Nintendo.
Yeah, totally.
Oh my god, yeah, but...
Actually, fandoms can kind of be considered as a cult, too.
I mean, guess so, but not as extreme as the
You
FDLS,
say that
FLDS,
sometimes.
whatever. Yep, there are cults out there just really meant to take advantage of the vulnerable. In this case, kids, wives, literally anybody just getting shot in the ranch, to telling people not to take modern medicine.
Yeah. I mean, we think of cults because of like the Manson or like Jim Jones. Those were like in the 70s, but they're still happening now, like with Mother God. Or I guess this one was kind of like that. This one now, I guess, is about 20 years old, but it's still happening.
Cults can happen now more online.
Yeah, I think the internet makes it way worse because with Mother God, like they're still live streaming to this
You know
day,
what?
getting followers, selling essential oils to people, and colloidal silver being like, she'll be back, we promise.
You know what?
Shout out Mother God. Link in the description.
Speaking of, we have to do the negatives of social media.
It's a thing. It's a thing. It
And
just,
maybe this.
yeah.
But, yeah. Well,
I mean, I have to ask the two of you. Do you want to start a cult? Let's do something.
Feels like it takes up a lot of your time.
Hey,
Oh
join
jeez,
me.
just imagining, like, just the timing of all of that, you know?
It's okay. For every penny you give us, you'll each get a kitten.
Right.
And that cat's a loving kitten until the cat gets mad.
But the thing we don't tell them is they are not actually cats. They are actually, like, I don't know, tiger cubs. And it's like, once they grow up, they just eat you or something, you know?
Or we get a puppy, which is a wolf, and then your whole throat is mauled. But yep, hey, we could start a wildlife cult. There you go. No.
I think that already exists, Peter, exactly.
Oh my god, but yeah. How about for the people in the comments? Would you start a cult? And if so, what would it be?
What would it surround? What would your cult based on? What would your cult be based on?
Right.
Yeah, actually, I am kind of curious about that. If you were to do a cult the right way, if there is a right way, what would it be like?
Oh god, that's something I'd have to really take my time to think about. But
It's like, one could argue that every single type of system in the world could be considered a cult. Like okay, let's think of it this way, right? Every 4 years in a certain country out there is a whole season where mainly two people go to every single part of this country, or a lot of the different parts of the country, and just talk for a while. And then certain, I don't know, donkey and elephant followers just bigger, you know? Could democracy, could the presidential race be considered a cult?
It depends on who it is.
It depends on a lot of things. Like, some could say, yes, it's actually very culty, because all of these people thinking the same thing, going to rallies, and sometimes actually committing crimes because of certain things. I don't know, it sounds kind of culty.
It could become culty, and it might have recently with a certain political candidate, but
yeah, right.
But no, even just people just in sporting events too. Like, you're really telling me that, I don't know, the Boston Red Sox worship a green monster? You know?
Oh, Wally.
Like, is that a cult?
I mean, people eat cereal. We worship Tony the Tiger. We worship Tony the Tiger. If we Cocoa Puffs, Yeah, you support that bird.
Because that was something that I always kind of felt iffy about saying that. Like, the phrase cult-like following. That always kind of got to me, because it's like, sure, cult-like, but like, couldn't that just be considered cult at the same time? If it's cult-like, what is the line?
But it's
What's the
cult-like,
difference?
not exactly a cult.
Where's the line? And who draws it?
I don't know. Charles Manson? I don't know.
Right.
But, I don't know. I feel like I'm a broken record here, but again, I haven't really been thinking about. I don't really know how I would even do a cult, because cults aren't generally good things. Well, I could sell somebody like a basketball and say this basketball will make you live forever. That just sounds like advertising. That just sounds like false advertising.
It could, but here's the thing.
What cults are.
Yeah.
They don't know. Maybe they will live forever. What are they gonna do to prove you wrong? Die? And then they're not gonna know that they didn't live forever.
Well, then, yeah, that's the only way you prove
Hey,
it.
everybody's immortal until they die.
Right. So yeah, you can buy my basketball, and you'll live forever.
Perfect. Done deal.
There you go. Did everybody enjoy this episode?
I sure did.
It was fairly fun, yeah.
It was a fun one, trying to gather some interesting stories to talk about and then have open discussions.
Yeah. I liked actually learning about both of the other, stories that you brought to the table. It's like the only one that I was somewhat familiar with was, the Manson family. And a little tiny, and I straight up mean like tiny percent of
Like a grain of sand?
stonemason stuff. Yeah, right. Like I know a little bit about the Freemasons, right? Just tiny bit. Right? But it's pretty interesting, like learning all of the connections when it comes to all of this, because they all deal with control. They all deal with, victims who have desperate needs for things, right? And it's just wild how you get one type of person in one position, and that is enough to get a ball rolling.
All right. Is there anything else we want to say before we conclude?
There's one thing off the top of my mind, anyway.
Right?
And that is, do you have any social media links? Anything that you want to plug? It could even be a charity or something. I don't know. Any plugs? Do it now.
I do, actually. Stephanie Meyer, the author of the Twilight series, used the very real Quileute tribe in her books and used stereotypes of Native Americans sort of to make fun of them. And they have not seen a dollar that Stephanie Meyer has made from the Twilight series, even though they are a big part of it. So look for the Quileute tribe online, look for their websites, and donate, because Stephanie Meyer continues to profit off of them. So support the Quileute tribe in Washington. Forks, Washington.
Now, any of your social medias, or you're not comfortable sharing your social media?
I'm good.
Because let's be honest, you and I don't really post on social media.
No.
Unless it's my podcast.
Subscribe.
Pretty much.
Jacob's podcast.
There you go. God. But
yeah, no. Totally been a pleasure. It was kind of one of those weirdly timed episodes, because we did an introduction and a conclusion a different day, and we were going to do this on the day that we lost power, right?
that was, I really wanted to do it that day, but Mother Nature was like, "Go fuck yourself."
Yeah,
But
it's only because we put silver in the atmosphere, right?
I think so. Yeah, that
Mother Nature,
she
full circle,
I
right?
think her ghost really made it the power. Made the power go out.
It was really a helter weather. No.
But yeah, hey, we were just talked about ghosts, and now we're getting one of them. But no, but I just want to say thank you all for listening to this, and thank my sister for joining, as this is the first episode to have a family member instead of just an acquaintance.
Thanks for having me.
All right, do all the YouTube stuff if you'd like. Don't do it. Doesn't matter. But we appreciate any support. But yeah,
DJ Colt. Number one rule is you must do the YouTube stuff.
click the notification bell key. That way you never miss a video.
You miss a video, we know where you live.
Right. Okay. This has been once again an episode of the DomJake podcast. Now, if you don't subscribe, we'll find you guys. No, but thank you all for listening. We'll see you in the next episode. Adios.